Hi, I'm Abby from the product marketing team at Houzz. I've spent over a decade working in residential construction, helping builders streamline their processes. Today, I get to show you the essentials of running your business in Houzz Pro, the stuff that actually helps you get projects organized, get paid, and stay profitable. There are two ways that you can start a project in Houzz Pro. Where you start depends on where you're at with the client and the project. If they're still a prospect and you're trying to win the job, you'll usually want to start in leads. If this is already a committed project and you're ready to start working, you can just create the project directly. Starting from a lead is helpful because it automatically organizes that customer into our CRM contact management system. So whether the lead came from your website, a referral, social media, Houzz, etc., everything is tracked in one place. You can manage your follow-ups, track where opportunities stand, build and send your initial estimate, set next steps, and customize deal stages based on how your business works. When the client is ready to move forward, you can convert that lead into a project, and all of the information carries over so you're not starting over or re-entering details. But not every project has to start there. If the client is already signed and you want to jump straight into managing the project, you can start by creating a project instead of a lead. Over here on the left-hand navigation, you'll notice projects at the top. When you click into projects, this is where you'll see all of your active jobs. You can view projects in a list format or switch into the Kanban style view to organize projects by status. You can customize these statuses to match what's most important to you and your team. So I have mine set up as permitting, site prep, framing, etc., so that I can move each project through each phase during my weekly meeting. So instead of digging through spreadsheets or trying to remember where projects stand, you can quickly see exactly where each project is at. It's especially helpful for those team meetings, production check-ins, or just for staying organized. To create a new project, it's just one click. Click Create Project, then add your project name. You can add in all of the client details like address, contact information, etc. later. For today, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a project that I've already set up. Now that I've opened this project, we're looking at the project dashboard for the job. This is going to become the command center for the project. Your estimate, selections, invoices, schedule, files, daily logs, everything's going to run through this project. Once you're inside, you and your team can quickly access all the important project information in one place. You can edit and view the client details, project address, files, pending tasks, and more, all here on this screen. And on the left-hand side, you'll notice that you have access to all of the different features that are going to help you run the project. This is really the core workspace for managing the project. So let's start with one of the first things most builders and remodelers need to do: build a client estimate. Now, before we actually build the estimate, let's talk about structure, because the estimate is the foundation of what helps you track the job later. If you work with cost codes, you can use them in Houzz Pro to organize your estimate so that it connects to your budget and to job costing. If you don't work with cost codes, that's okay too. You can use our standard category system instead. Let's take a look at where you manage your cost codes or categories. On the far left-hand navigation, click Company. You'll notice that mine says Cost Codes. This is also where you can manage categories, and you can switch if you have categories and need to turn on cost codes instead. This is also where you'll import any of your existing cost codes. Once those cost codes are in the system, you can use them inside your estimate and tie line items back to the right cost code for job costing. The most important thing you can do when setting up your cost codes and estimates is to set them up in a way that matches how your team thinks about the job, how you pay for labor and materials, and how you want to track your numbers. Do you pay for plumbing turnkey, or do you pay the plumber for labor and buy the fixtures yourself? That's important when you're deciding what cost codes you should set up. Now, let's go back into the project and build the actual estimate. You'll notice there are a few options for starting a new estimate. Most importantly, starting from scratch if you're brand new, or starting with AI if you're looking for an early first draft for guidance on that early pricing. Once you build a system for the way you estimate, you can save that as a template so you're not rebuilding the same structure every time. Let's choose to start from scratch for now. Now that we have a blank estimate open, you can see your company information is automatically loaded in, as well as any client information added in when you set up those project details. This information will carry through as you invoice and send any other financial document like change orders to your clients. Now let's talk about line items. Your line items are your tracking system down the line for job costing. So it is critical that your estimate is set up in a way that represents how you want to track your numbers. These line items can be high-level cost codes. For example, plumbing fixtures, $15,000. Or they can be super granular assemblies, every nail, every screw, every sheet of drywall, the labor, etc. That can all be put together in an assembly. But you can start building these line items by typing in line right here. This is going to allow you to pull from your existing catalog, and you can also do that from the right-hand navigation. Or you can have AI help you get to that first draft faster. Let's take a look at how AI can get you to the point of that first draft. I'm going to use an example prompt for a 300 square foot full gut kitchen renovation. You'll notice that I'm including exactly what needs to be done in this project. I am also including details about the finishes that I anticipate to use, example brands of what type of appliances might be used in this kitchen renovation, etc. I've also called out that I need all new electrical for this project, and I want to include a 15% markup. Now, AI is going to use my scope prompt, the project zip code, and my existing cost codes to create the line items it recommends for this estimate. Now, from there, I can choose to use the entire estimate it creates, keep only certain line items, or use the structure and naming, and then update the cost with my own pricing. You can build your estimate any way you like. But now let's talk about allowances. Allowances are going to be critical for any selection decision your client hasn't finalized yet. So let's take a look back at the plumbing fixtures line item that I created earlier. I know my client has an allowance for $15,000 in plumbing fixtures, and I need that to translate into client decisions and my design process. By marking this line item as an allowance, now the estimate is connected to a selection board where these selections can actually be managed and decisions can happen. The dollar value from the estimate is tethered to that selection board so that as the client makes decisions, there's insight into what's being spent versus what was originally budgeted on that estimate. Now, once you've built your estimate in a way that works for both you internally for job costing and externally for your clients, it's time to share that estimate with the client for approval and signature. First, we're going to click Preview. You can control exactly what the client sees. Do you want your client to see only the high-level categories, or do you want them to see every single detail? Are you sharing your markup? You can use the controls to make sure your estimate is presented exactly how you want it. You'll preview and see exactly what your client is going to see, and when you're ready, hit send, and you can customize the messaging you're sending to the client. And you can share this with them over email, text message, or both. From your client's perspective, they'll get notified of the new estimate and they can open it on their phone, review it, click, approve, and sign. They can also pay a deposit on the overall estimate total, or you can collect a retainer to apply to future invoices. Back on your side, the estimate status will update automatically and you'll be notified the second that they sign, approve, and pay. you'll see that the document automatically switches to approved, and that's your cue to move the project forward. Now that the project's moving forward, it's time to start thinking about the expenses that are coming and going and keeping an eye on the job costs. Once your estimate is approved, you should sync that estimate to your budget. Every cost code and line item will carry over automatically, and this becomes your estimated cost column on the budget. As the project moves forward and you log expenses or subcontractor bills, they're going to be logged against the same cost codes, and your budget will update in real time. Same for change orders and purchase orders. The cost code is the link that gives you a live view of your estimated versus actual spend. You'll know exactly if you're over or under on flooring while the project is happening, not 3 months after it's finished. This turns your estimate into a live tool for job costing. Now let's talk about selections, because this is usually where projects start getting messy. Instead of managing product decisions across text messages, emails, screenshots, and spreadsheets, Houzz Pro is going to give you one place to organize everything. So we're going to head into selections in the left-hand navigation and click Create Board. You can build boards by room, by trade, by phase, or however your team likes to organize decisions. If you're using allowances, you likely already set up some boards from your estimate. From here, your selection boards become like a digital pin board for you to paint the picture of all of the finishes for the project. You can add products manually, pull from your saved library, or use the clipper to quickly grab products from vendor websites. The clipper tool with AI clipping allows you to quickly scrape a vendor's website and save all the product details, thumbnails, SKU numbers, finishes, dimensions, etc. So you can use that information to present to your client and for procurement later on. So if I'm selecting all the plumbing fixtures for the project, I can pull everything into one organized place for the client to review. This is where allowances really start to come to life. We created the allowance for plumbing fixtures earlier on. Now, as actual products get added and decisions are made, the client can see whether they're staying within that allowance or going over. You can use selection boards as an addition to your in-person design meetings, or you can send these to your client and they can review and approve selections remotely from their dashboard. So everyone stays on the same page about what was chosen and what still needs decisions. The goal here is simple. Keep decisions organized, connected to the budget, and moving forward without recreating the same information over and over. Once the project is moving forward and you need to collect money from your client, you're ready to invoice. If you're working on a fixed price project, you'll usually invoice by phase, percentage, or by a set payment schedule. So maybe you collect a 30% deposit up front, invoice again after framing, and collect a final payment upon completion. Or if you're working on a cost plus project, it'll work a little differently. You can invoice based off of your actual costs as expenses come in, then apply your fee or markup. Either way, once the invoice is ready, just make sure that online payments is turned on. Your client can review the invoice and pay immediately by credit card or bank transfer right from their phone or computer. So instead of chasing checks, wondering if an invoice was seen, or manually tracking payments in another system, everything stays connected to the project. If you already collected a deposit or retainer when the estimate was approved, you can automatically apply that payment to the invoice. So from estimate to approval to invoice to payment, it's all connected and in one place. Once you have the core workflow down, there's a lot more built into Houzz to help your team stay organized as your work moves forward. You can manage schedules, daily logs, files, client communication, material takeoffs, and so much more, all connected back to the same project. There's also a mobile app for your team so they can upload photos, document progress, and add updates directly from the job site. And because everything lives inside the same project, your office staff, and field team are all working from the same information. We'll cover a lot of these workflows more deeply in separate trainings, but the most important thing when getting started is mastering the core flow. Create the project, build the estimate, get client approval, track those job costs, send out invoices, and collect payments, all connected in one place. And that's really the goal here. Instead of piecing projects together across spreadsheets, text, emails, separate apps, your entire workflow lives inside the project. As your business grows, there are even more tools built in to help you manage the project, but the most important thing when getting started is mastering the core workflow first. Don't worry about learning everything all at once. Start with your first project, get your first estimate out, send your first invoice, and build from there. That's when Houzz Pro really starts to click.